been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
TGIF. Thank goodness it is Friday right here on the Ysn Power Hour, sponsored by our friends at Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley, the familiar face and a guy that you're not used to seeing on Fridays. But, Scotty, we can shift it up, man. We can change it up, and you can be the happy face that everybody sees to start the weekend. Scotty Mincher joins us on this Friday, a little bit adverse to his usual Wednesday shows. Scotty, what's cracking with you today, buddy?
I'm doing good. I've had a good day at the office. Got to enjoy some of this beautiful weather, another beautiful day. So I got high energy today, and I'm excited for the Cavs tonight.
All right, so I got to ask you, it's a tied series, right? 1-1 going into game 3 tonight. Talk to me about your Cavs and how excited, and I know you're excited for the game in general, but are you willing to put some Skittles down on your Cavaliers tonight going into enemy territory in New York?
Oh yeah, I would be willing to put some Skittles down. I'm not saying the Knicks are a bad team, because they're not. They're a solid team. But I do think the Cavaliers, even though they lost game 1, I think they're the better team. Now, the better team doesn't always win, and they haven't faced the crowd in a type of atmosphere they're going to see. They haven't faced the crowd like the crowd they're going to get in Madison Square Garden under the bright lights of New York. But I think the Cavs kind of settled down after that first game. I think they were a bit uptight that first playoff game. I think they really started to relax. And now blowing the Knicks out, I think they have good momentum going into game 3, because not only did Donovan Mitchell have another good game in game 2, but Darius Garland went off. He kind of took his game to a new level. So I feel like the Cavs have 2 guys that could really be a thorn in the Knicks side now. And as far as the Knicks go, after Jalen Brunson, who's a great player, he's a star. But after Jalen Brunson, I think there's more question marks than the Cavs have. But it's the NBA, it's the playoffs. Anything could happen. Not saying it's guaranteed the Cavs are going to win tonight, but I would definitely put Skittles on the Cavs.
From a standpoint of playing in Madison Square Garden, one of the toughest places to play in all of sports, you're willing to put Skittles down. We're not going to bet anything here. If that's what you were leaning towards, we're not doing that. But I'm interested to see, and I'll pop it up here real quick to see what the spread is on tonight's game, and kind of how that is going to factor into the betting lines and things of that nature. And right now I'm looking at it, and it looks like the Cavs are +2. So really, that's in the NBA world, that's not much of anything from that standpoint. Probably wouldn't be a bad bet for the Cavs. This evening, if you were a Cavs fan and you're betting with your heart, maybe not so much your head. It might be worth a couple Skittles, 10 Skittles or something like that to get a couple a couple extra Skittles if the Cavs do win. And what's this series has been interesting because it's been the tale of two different games so far. What is the key to the Cavs winning tonight? Can they repeat that blowout performance that they had the other night?
I think they can repeat the performance as long as they come out and establish themselves as the more physical team. In game one, I thought the Knicks were the more physical team. They out physical the Cavs. They got to all the loose balls. They made all the hustle plays. And in game two, it was the total opposite. So they got to kind of be that bully on the block again and just get physical with the Knicks. The Knicks kind of remind me a little bit of like the basketball equivalent of the Tennessee Titans, where their best bet to win is, they try to play really good defense and stay in the game, and then in the end, rely on their great player. Of course, for the Titans, it's Derrick Henry. For the Knicks, it's Jalen Brunson. So that they're kind of similar in that way. I think they rely a lot on their defense, and they're gonna need someone else to step up besides Brunson. But also on the flip side, the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell scored a lot less points in game two, but he had a lot more assists. He scored almost 40 in game one, and they lost. So it can't just be the Donovan Mitchell show, or the Cavs will be in serious jeopardy again.
I agree with you, man. Go Cavs. Beat the Knicks tonight. Hopefully they go up 2-1 after all is said and done. The dust settles tonight. Scotty, it is a Friday edition. I know you're in a great mood. I'm in a great mood. T-ball practice in America starts tonight. I guess continues tonight. The Z-Man gets to go and hack off the tee over at the range. Talk to me about what you want to talk about today on the weekending version of the YSN Power Hour.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I was thinking the other day when we knew that we weren't going to be able to do Wednesday, I was thinking a lot about, okay, I'm not usually on a Friday. What do I want to talk about? So I started, just racking my brain, doing some research. I started doing some reading, and I stumbled upon this article on Fox Sports that said that um, Ohio State and Michigan are the two most popular universities. Ohio State number one, Michigan number two in college sports. I think it went like Penn State was third, FS Florida State was fourth, maybe Miami fifth. I think I have the fifth team wrong. But anyway, um, they had Ohio State and Michigan 1 and 2 as far as the most popular teams in college sports. Um, but I wanted to know, tying that in locally here, DJ. We've had conversations in the past about teams that we think are contenders, and then the teams that we think are powerhouses. So I want to know from you, like, what are some, maybe not necessarily the most popular, because and especially on the high school level, I mean, I think fans are just generally more passionate. I mean, it's not as much of a popularity contest, but I just wanted to know from you, like, what are the schools that you think that maybe are on that level of okay, they're now some of they're in the elite of the area as far as having the best fan bases. Who do you think some of the best local fan bases are of the YSN schools?
So is it like this question? What schools brand themselves the best? Is that kind of what we're getting at here?
Yeah, I always get, and it's a bad habit of mine. I get long winded with things, so I apologize. But yes, that's where I was getting at.
Well, I think that is a very interesting question because branding today, in today's day and age, it goes along with marketing and advertising and stuff like that. Um, and I think there's a lot of schools that do the branding of themselves really well. And we're talking about the athletic side of things, not necessarily the academic side of things as far as branding goes, but in the world of keeping their kids engaged and keeping their kids up on things, Scotty. I think you've got an interesting platform here because you've got the marketing machine that is YSN that does a lot of the marketing and advertising and promotion of the schools for the schools. And you have the schools themselves that either do it really well, kind of do it, or don't do it at all. And I think from our standpoint, there's a bunch of schools that we look at that brand themselves incredibly well. And I got to tell you, right off the jump, Austintown Fitch, at least to me, is one of the teams and schools that constantly promote their schools and their student athletes over and over again. They do it very well, and they do it very regularly. And I think with the I don't want to say the invention, but the inclusion of like VNN and things of that nature, athletic departments and Gipper, which you see a lot of these teams using Gipper now, they've been able to help highlight schools better than and student athletes better than ever before. Kind of, I don't want to say taking a little bit off of our plate, but helping out in promotion. So all we have to do on our social medias is share it. But there's still a lot of people that need YSN to help promote their schools, their student athletes, their programs, and things of that nature. So, I mean, Fitch is at the top of my list. I think they do an excellent job. I think Salem does a really good job as well, especially on their website. I'm trying to think of some other schools. Springfield does a really good job. It's a good question. But from a branding standpoint, go ahead.
That would be basically your top three would be Fitch, Salem, and Springfield off the top of your head.
Well, it's tough. It's a tough question to answer because a lot of people are going by the marketing, right? They're going by, okay, what does it look like for, these different sports? So football gets a lot of branding. Football is everybody's well aware of football, but I think it's easier to do football, not to take anything away from the sport because you're only playing on a Friday or you're only playing on a Saturday, right? Whereas baseball and softball is a lot more challenging because there's weather involvement. There's all kinds of stuff that goes into it, and you can't promote every single day because you have so much going on. And the athletic department, the athletic office, whatever it is, has so much going on that it's tough to brand that. So I think when it comes to schools and their branding and how they brand themselves, I do think Austintown Fitch does a very, very good job of that. I think a lot of that falls on the individual programs, the individual booster clubs, and Austintown Fitch being a bigger school is able to do that with a little bit more push. I also think Boardman does a really good job. I think Ursuline does a really good job. I think some of these student run programs do a really good job of promoting their different school functions and school programs as well. So it's a tough question to land on, but because there's so many different intricacies of how you can brand yourself. But to me, Austintown Fitch is right at the top of that list.
And it's funny you say that because kind of tying into that, DJ, I typed in, I forget why. I think I wanted to see um, something about softball. So, and I've been reading a lot about, um, and me and Anthony talk quite a bit about Sydney Watt and Fitch, and their undefeated run right now and what she's doing. I think she had 13 Ks in the last game, but like Fitch does such a great job. Like I didn't even have to finish typing it in on Google, and it was like Sydney Watt softball Fitch. Like she was like the number one like name before I even finished typing. Um, so yeah, it seems like it's hard to argue against Fitch as far as the branding goes. But have you gotten? I know you went. We didn't do a show last week because you were down in Myrtle Beach. I think actually right when me and Anthony did a show, I think you were doing a South Range game right after Running Point.
Yeah, Wednesday was a
But
long
I
day.
wanted I I wanted to know what were some of your biggest takeaways down there from the past week. What stuck out to you, and have you gotten to see a lot of Sydney Watt this season?
Yeah, Sydney Watts is amazing. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't think there's any getting around it. She was incredible last year. She somehow is better this year, which tells you that her junior and senior campaigns in the next couple of years are going to be nothing short of phenomenal. And listen, I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it, Scotty. I get excited when there's greatness that surrounds our area, and Sydney Watts is going to be possibly one of the best pitchers that we've seen in a generation. She is nearly untouchable, and she's doing it at the highest level. So I'm excited to see what kind of continues her career. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I think this is a very special Austintown Fitch team. I really, really do. Had the chance to watch a few innings down there as they shared the complex with my team that I follow that I've been assigned to is South Range. So I got to see a few innings, and I've got a lot of good connections over there with the softball team. We let Ty do his thing. That's his alma mater. That's his love. That's his heart. That's his soul. So we let Ty do that, because that's what we do here. But I will tell you this, is they are a fun team to watch, and they're a fun team to listen to. If you're able to get down to a game, listen to their dugout chatter, listen to their support, listen to their parents. Just great people, great program. Coach Ward does an unbelievable job with them and continues to, I think, will continue to propel them towards what I think could be and should be a state championship caliber year. So, I mean, if that's any indication, I'm trying not to jinx them, but I think that this is one of those teams in this area that you have the expectation that this could be a very special team, and this could be a banner year for the ladies over at Austintown Fitch. As far as Myrtle Beach goes, my takeaways are the food is awesome. The food is awesome. The Northeast softball and baseball teams are better than the teams in the South that lined up at that particular time. Now, I talked about this the other day on the show about how we went down and kicked everybody's ass for the most part. And, we lined it up and we went, and the only team that we didn't touch really and get our pound of flesh was Aner, which is one of the best teams in South Carolina. Somehow people started following us from down south, and they're saying, oh, well, come down this week and this week, and we'll show you our real teams. And anybody that does a little bit of research understands that Aner is one of the best teams in South Carolina for softball. So South Range lost by 1 run in extra innings. Ursuline lost by, I think, 4 or 5 runs. So when you're playing on the home field, there is a certain advantage. I'm not making excuses. I'm just pointing out kind of observations. if that makes sense. I don't want to sit there and say that Ainer didn't deserve to win those games, because at the end of the day, they won. Those were two excellent games. But you're looking at I think a very young team in South Range. You know, they're led by 4 seniors that all bat 2, 3, 4, 5 in the lineup. And you're looking at a young Ursuline team that I think is only going to get better. But my biggest takeaway, Scotty, to answer your question, is the food down south is amazing.
What did you have? Any? Are you a seafood guy or no?
All day. All right. So there's a few things that are 100% guarantees when we go down there. Number one, all you can eat crab. You're going to find me at one of those tables, hands down, probably a couple nights out of the week that we're down there. Captain George's is my preferred location. It's about 25 minutes away from our condo. So that's where I'll be. We're going to definitely hit that up twice next year, as opposed to trying one of the other Calabash places. And there's a place called Rios Brazilian Steakhouse. It's very similar to Texas Day Brazil up here. A little bit different. It's one of those where you have the red card, the green card, and you turn it. It's like a coaster, really. If you turn over have you ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse, Scotty?
I have not, but I would love to go sometime.
Well, we're gonna go then, because it was awesome. So what happens is they give you this almost like coaster, right? It's like this big, and one side's red and one side's green. Well, if your red card is up and turned over, they will not give you food. If your green card is turned over, if the coaster's turned over and it's green, they'll bring you all the food you can handle, and they'll just scrape it off onto your plate. So we had all different kind of steak. I mean, there was lamb, there was steak, beef, prime rib. They had this unbelievable baked pineapple. It was so good. So good. Oh, by the way, they've got like a salad bar that includes sushi and cocktail shrimp and all kinds of stuff. Like, my wife was big on the salad bar. I was huge on the Brazilian steakhouse and people bringing stuff around. It was phenomenal. So we had that. This is almost sacrilege. Are you ready for this? The pizza down there is incredible. Incredible. The best margarita pizza I've ever tasted was in Myrtle Beach. These guys are just pure Italians, right? And it was, you wait 45 minutes for the pizza, which is similar to, like, if you go to Chicago, you're going to wait 45 minutes for like a deep dish. But this pizza is worth every cent. It's worth every minute. And my wife just raved about this pizza. She said it was the best thing she had down there, which is saying a lot when you have all you can eat crab legs and you have the Brazilian steakhouse. So I'm making myself hungry just talking about it again, man.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because we I've always felt that I'm gonna have to try it now, because I've always felt that Youngstown, like, I haven't been everywhere, but I felt that Youngstown has some great pizza, like
The best.
Top notch, yeah.
The best.
So,
And that's why I was blasted, because I'm thinking Myrtle Beach, you should be known for your seafood, or you should be known for, some of the other stuff. Your sweet tea, which is, by the way, chef's kiss, amazing. As a type 2 diabetic, it's probably not the best place for me to be down there and have the sweet tea oozing out of my pores. But it's everything that you want from that standpoint. But I'm telling you, there's this place. It's on, I can't remember what it's actually, Giorgio's or something like that. And I know where it is. So I'm that's where we're going every time we go down there. But it is amazing. Like, it is so good. And I looked up the One Bite reviews. It wasn't reviewed to that point at North Myrtle Beach. But it was amazing. And it wasn't just us. It wasn't like we were just hungry and it was the best pizza ever because we were starving. Like, we were well fed, and we still went for a dinner, and I brought home the pizza. It's like 870 feet away from our condo. So I walked back in the rain, and dude, it was still good. Still, like, not just good, amazing good. So kudos to, I think it's called Giorgio. So if you're down in Giorgio's and you're watching this for some reason, um, the best margarita pizza I've ever had in my life. And my wife's a connoisseur of margarita pizzas, and she said it's the best she's ever had as well.
Yeah, I haven't had many. I did have one from West Side Bowl in Youngstown, and their margarita pizza is very good. So that's about all I've had when it comes to the margarita pizza. But yeah, all that you said, like the seafood, the steak, that all sounds, it's making me hungry, man.
So if you were going to go down, Scotty, what's one of the things that you would be really enticed to eat? Are you a seafood guy? Like, what's your favorite seafood, and what's one thing that you wouldn't touch if you were on vacation?
Uh, um, As far I am a seafood guy. I love myself. I do like crab cakes and lobster, but I love myself some shrimp, some
Okay.
good, whether it's grilled shrimp or fried. I love some myself some good shrimp with some good sauce, whether it's just cocktail sauce or some other kind of like glaze like sauce. So I eat shrimp probably. I want to say my mom makes it for me at least once or twice a month.
Oh,
So
wow.
I eat it quite frequently. Um, so that's something I love. I'm a big fan of scallops. They're not for everybody, but I do like scallops a lot. Um, I do like certain fish. I do. Nowadays, I'm more just a fan of the beer batter that over things like salmon and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not like a super picky eater. But if I'm on vacation, like I guess, man, that's hard to say. I guess I'm not getting a salad. Put it that way. That's too boring.
Tell that to my wife. Now, in her defense, she had, I mean, it wasn't like a regular salad bar. It had like pea salad and, like I said, cocktail shrimp and all kinds of stuff like that. It was like out of this world. I ate a fried banana for the first time. Not, at least these ones, I was not a super fan of. I thought fried banana would be delicious. Mm, just like,
Was it? No, it wasn't like did it have like chocolate coated with it or
nope,
no?
just a straight up fried banana. I mean, it was, I don't know. I looked at it and I was like, this. First off, it didn't taste like a banana. It wasn't sweet. I think maybe there was, like, I thought it was a plantain. I thought I got it mixed up, and I went back and it said fried bananas on it. Now, it wasn't deep fried banana, but it was just a fried banana. So I don't know what that means, what the difference is. A deep fried banana I've seen with whipped cream and sugar and all, chocolate, like you said. But a fried banana didn't have anything with it. It was just a piece of a banana that was fried. And listen, that was at the
Are
Brazilian
you a
steakhouse.
fan of like uh like when fairs come around and stuff like that,
Oh, yeah.
festivals
Yeah, I
like that?
like it. Now, I can't handle fried food like I used to, and I say that as my mind thinks I'm young, but my body goes, "Wait a minute, you're 38. You're not putting away fried food like you did when you were 16, 17 years old." But one of my wife's favorite things to go to the Canfield Fair, or any fair for that matter, which makes no sense to me, is fried vegetables. Like when you get like if I'm eating vegetables, I'm taking down like raw vegetables. Like I love raw broccoli, raw cauliflower, carrots especially, but like I'm not a fan of cooked vegetables, but she likes deep fried vegetables, which I think is weird. But she feels good about it because you're eating unhealthy but healthy at the same time, I guess.
So like, So I'm assuming do you like onions?
I do.
So when you eat onions, you'd rather just have like the raw than it being like the
No, no,
the-
no. I'm not gonna sit there and eat raw onions or anything like that, like Creed Bratton from The Office. But like I like a good onion ring, from that standpoint. I guess you can call that a fried vegetable, but like these are like fried cauliflower, fried broccoli, fried all kinds of stuff. And she gets them. It's usually right next to the place where the hot tubs are. So we're looking at the hot tubs, and then she's like, "Oh, look, magically again, it's the fried vegetables." So she gets and they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're very good. The fried zucchini and I think they have fried pickles in there. Maybe like fried pickles are good. I like those. But like I can eat. I have that weird person that gets the giant jar of like full pickles at Sam's Club. Like that's me. It's in my refrigerator right now. I love to eat pickles like that because they're healthy for you. And if it's between pickles and a bag of chips, I'm taking the pickle from that. It sounds weird for me saying someone's probably going to run that back, but I enjoy a dill pickle.
Yeah. Have you ever had the the sweet and hot uh
Mm.
pickles?
They good? They sound
Those
good.
are really good. Yeah. Because I'm not I'll eat the bread and butter or whatever, like the
Oh, I like
sweeter
those.
ones. I do like those, but I think the sweet combined with the hot, it's a great
Oh,
combo.
I'd like that. Yeah, that might be I've never had that. I'll have to go. Those are like the fancy pickles or whatever.
Yeah, I believe in my dad's um in Poland in his giant eagle they have them.
We'll have to check them out.
He's gotten them for me before, so.
We'll have to check that out. I'm and this is sacrilege here in Youngstown, but the peppers and oil, I don't think I very rarely get peppers and oil, but the homemade ones, and I'll tell you exactly who makes the best out of anybody that I've ever met, and I will put anybody to the test. Donnie Riccatelli makes the best peppers and oil. And you can put those on anything. Like we've eaten peppers and oil with just bread before for snack. And I bow down to the Dawn Father for what he's able to do in the kitchen. My guy is uberly talented in everything he does, but peppers and oil, my mouth's watering just thinking about it right now. It's we probably shouldn't be talking about food because I'm gonna gain about 30 pounds tonight. Just going and snacking.
So I'm assuming they're not hot though.
They're a little spicy. They've got a little bit to it.
Got a little kick.
Yeah, but it's not overly consuming. Like some of the peppers and oil that I've had before, even at restaurants, it's like, like makes you burn, and you're going to be paying for it. But
Yeah.
Donnie's they're amazing. They're so good, and something about those riccatellis, they're amazing when it comes to just about everything. So kudos to Donnie Riccatelli and his peppers and oil. And if I don't get him again this year, he's going to go down the charts.
Yeah, I love peppers too. I don't get them that much, but yeah, I'm a big fan as well.
Are these like can these be considered tailgate food?
I don't. I mean, why not? Right? Like,
I'd like to see like more tailgates in high school sports, like even more than just football too. But like if you're at a baseball game, because there's nobody that is out there usually selling, unless you're at like a scene park or, at an Eastwood Field. How awesome would it be if the parents just, kind of collaborated and there's somebody cooking brats or hot dogs, on the side of the field and they're handing them out? Like, how awesome would that be? That would be a true Northeast Ohio thing to do, is to be cooking out while you're watching a baseball game.
And it doesn't, love the country. It doesn't get any more American than that. Baseball, brats, hot dogs.
Oh, I'd be living for it.
It's all about.
I need to talk to Donnie Farron about getting somebody set up down the third base line during these softball games, cooking some brats and handing them out during the game.
Yeah, man, I could go for some. I'm sure you've had. Have you ever gone like? Because I know you've gone to quite a bit of like Pirates and Steelers games in your time. Have you ever gotten like from the vendors outside the stadium, like the food there, like the
Like a
sauce?
street dog? I've never had a street dog. When I went to New York, I wanted one and I couldn't find one.
Okay, they're really good.
Did you this, and since we're talking about food, did you see what happened in Philadelphia the other night?
I didn't know what happened.
All right. So they showcase these long lines in Philadelphia. And usually it's like for something very elite or very rare. And they had dollar hot dog night at whatever their stadium is. It's not the Vet anymore. It's I forget what it is. It's in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. I don't think it's Citizens Bank.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think it's Citizen. Well, they might have changed the name, but I think you're right. I think it's something along those lines. Anyway, so it was dollar hot dog night, and there were lines wrapped around the stadium for dollar hot dogs. So people were going nuts. Here's the kicker. I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe they're just, they're buying 5, 10 at a time, to feed their family. In typical Philadelphia fashion, they're not eating the hot dogs, Scotty. What they're doing is, and there's video of this anywhere. If you go on Twitter, if you go, I don't know where you look it up, YouTube, wherever you look up your stuff, there's video of these people in Philadelphia throwing hot dogs at each other from all different sides of the stadium. Like the people on the second deck are throwing hot dogs straight down and just pegging people with wieners. Just absolutely just straight fastball, straight heater, wiener to the head.
Philly fans, man, they take it to another level.
It's hilarious to watch. You need to check it out because it's awesome. But like it threw me off the scent, because if you do that in Mahoning Valley, people are eating the hot dogs.
Yeah, it's like I'm definitely eating them. To me, that's a waste of hot dog. It's like somebody, people throwing beer or something on each other. It's like
Nobody's ever going to throw beer. That's wasteful. Yeah, that's almost worth time in the slammer.
Well, Cleveland fans, they did. I was there. I was scared. I was well underage at that time, and that was scary. Bottlegate, but
you were there?
Yeah.
The Jags, right?
I had a shirt. I think I still have it. Yeah, they played the Jags. I think it was December 12th, 2001.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was there, scared shitless because, look, like my family, my brother, my cousin, when everybody started throwing the beer bottles and all hell broke loose, and I saw some guy getting nailed in the back of the head with like a radio Like it was crazy. And my brother and my cousin are underneath their seats, and I'm still sitting in my seat where my dad's going to. He went to grab my wheelchair, and I'm sitting in my seat trying to duck my head, and luckily I made it out unscathed. But
Would you rather have that story where you're dodging beer bottles off the head or dodging wieners in Philadelphia?
I guess dodging beer bottles, I guess.
I would pay. Listen, I don't want anything bad to happen to you, but I would pay good money to watch you try to steer away from a bunch of wieners. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't even.
oh man.
Can't even get it. Can you imagine you'd be like playing the arcade game where it's like going back and forth, but you're just going back and forth trying to dodge hot dogs? Like that is a good
Yeah,
game. I might
yeah,
make
like
that an official game.
I'd feel like I was like I'm sure you've seen The Matrix. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like I was some like Neo or
I just
whoever from The
I
Matrix.
I just want to see you and Dave try to navigate hot dog rain coming down in Philadelphia. Oh my. Not listen.
I think I would just yell out, "Why are you throwing these at me? Hot dogs are delicious. They're meant to be eaten."
Would you would you be keeping your mouth open with the hot dogs coming down, hoping that one lands right in your gullet like Happy Gilmore?
Yeah. I think I would.
Oh my goodness. This is what happens on Fridays, man.
But then you know what they say, and with my luck, this would happen because they say hot dogs are one of the most, if not the most, chokeable food. So with my luck, it would get like lodged right in my throat, and that's how I would go out.
we would just go get the guy from Field of Dreams to come and get you taken care of. Moonlight Graham would just
Graham.
he would show up and get the hot dog out of your throat in Philadelphia.
Moonlight Graham would save me.
And then he's in the middle of his speech and you just roll off. Just don't wait for him. Just keep on going. You can't go back, can you, Moonlight? Just roll away. We know Dave would. Dave O'Malley, Super Dave, would not wait for Moonlight Graham to finish his monologue. He would go right down Broadway and get away from him, get out of there. But I also think that Super Dave he'd have a bag and he'd just be collecting the hot dogs and trying to sell them on the corner somewhere. So, if we're calling people out, that's what my guess is. Super Dave has never met a hot dog that he couldn't sell. So,
yeah, I could definitely see that in Super Dave. I know we've been, God, this has been just a fun show full of fun hypotheticals today. But on a serious note, I think we do got to cross off one of these days. Me and you got to go. I know we wanna. I want to do a game with you. Call a game with you, baseball game for YSN. But I would also love to go, and it could be anywhere. It could be Philly. It could be Progressive Field, which I still like to call the Jake. It could be PNC. But I'd love to go to a major league game with you.
oh yeah, it'd be fantastic. I'd love that. I
it
think the nice thing is this summer we've got our partnership back with the Scrappers. So, maybe we catch a Scrappers game or two out there at Eastwood and take advantage of some of their promotional nights that they have, which is going to be great for the entire family. If you need more information, they just named their coaching staff for the year. Another great coaching staff for the Scrappers, part of the MLB Draft League. And naturally, I think that, they've got some bobbleheads coming up. They have some other great promotional nights coming up, Buck Night, as they always have. So, Yeah, Scotty, let's do that. Let's go get some scrappers. Let's get some see if we can get some tickets to the tribe, or not the tribe, the Guardians, and maybe a Pirates game, since my Buccos, man,
They're
13
they're
and 7.
they're on fire, and that kind of leads me. And unless we got a break right now,
No, we're good. We're good.
okay. But that leads me into my next thing I wanted to kind of throw out at you, DJ. Obviously, here, and you talked about it, and me and you both agree, and we always say how, like, if you're not in it to win, like, what are you in it for? What are you doing it for if you're not in it for, winning championships? Like, we're both about winning championships. That's why, despite their horrid history, every single year I get hyped up on the Browns at some point, and I did a couple weeks ago. But would you rather, like, when you were playing, and even now, would you rather do what the Buccos are doing? And I'm not saying, I think people are starting to notice a little bit, but it's still so ridiculously early in the baseball season that so much could happen. But would you like being that top dog in sports and winning that way and just like beating the crap out of everybody, or would you like kind of being that team that nobody expects to win, that maybe doesn't have the juggernauts, that maybe the season doesn't end with a championship, but you have a great year and you surprise people? Or do you always want to be that top dog playing juggernauts and competing for championships?
First off, what the heck kind of question is that? Do I want to be someone that doesn't end with a championship or someone that does?
No, because I'm saying it's the. But when I'm saying, DJ, is I've said this to you before, and this is kind of uh, ironic for me to say, but sometimes you gotta walk before you run. And as good as the Pirates start has been this season, and they're on a 4-game winning streak right now, they're looking really strong. Like most people would say, it's highly unlikely they're going to win a title, but because of that, the expectations were never about winning a title. They were about putting a competitive team on the field this year. If they're uh, around 500, a few games below, above 500, even a few games below, I mean, that doesn't end with a championship, but it's still a great building block for the Pirates, don't you think? And then going in the next year, 2024 would be that's been the target year for several years now. I've heard from Pirate fans. So don't you think if the Pirates just have a good year because of the expectations, that's a good season, even if it doesn't end with a World Series
Well,
title?
let me spin this around on you, and you can answer for me. How did 2016 end for you with the Indians?
It was
Was that worth it to you?
no, it wasn't, because we had the 3-1 lead in the World Series.
Well, I mean, that aside, I mean, you guys weren't favored to win the World Series at the beginning of the year. It was a team that just, to me, overperformed, and I guess when you get into the playoffs, it doesn't matter. Like, to me, that stuff doesn't matter. You're in the dance, right? So if you're playing good baseball at that time, and you go to the World Series and you lose, I'm telling you, as someone who's seen his team get to a championship and lose, and as someone who has seen his team get to the championship and win, there's no comparison between that feeling of your team winning the championship and losing. Like, to me, if there's 30 teams in baseball, right? I'd probably rather be number 30 than be number 2. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm the same way in football. I'd rather be number 32 than number 2 and get a nice draft pick or a nice stock that you can help build. Baseball is a little bit tougher than football and basketball, or hockey. But at the same time, it's, if you're not winning the championship, then, it's all for naught. I mean, this is professional sports. You're either getting it done or you're not. That's why it's so special when you do win it, because there's only one team that gets to do that. And, I hate being that guy, but, as a competitor, you're not playing for second place.
I get that, but you don't always at least want that crack at it. Is well, like you said, as far as the professional ranks go, it's all about winning championships. For you, does that apply to high school and the collegiate level as well?
High school is a little bit more challenging because you're always dealing with kind of what do you call that? A turnstile, right? You got kids that are developed, and not only that, but kids are growing into their bodies and they're growing into their IQs at that age. So you're going to get some kids that maybe have been together for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, under the same banner, and they come through and then they go out, and you're going to get the ebbs and the flows from high schools because you're not always producing, year after year after year of the same caliber athletes. But college has become a little bit more professional to me, especially with the transfer portal open, because you can go out and just hand pick what you need. Similar to free agency in professional sports. So yeah, I think that college sports is probably more along the lines of, if you're second place, you might as well finish last in your conference. Because what else is there for you? These Ohio State fans, if you don't beat Michigan, the season's a wash. Doesn't matter if you win the national championship, you didn't beat Michigan. At least that's what I'm hearing from Ohio State fans. And the same thing with Michigan fans. If you don't beat that team, then the season's a complete waste. And
Yeah,
that's a little bit ridiculous to me.
I think it is too. And you said last week and the week before, you've said this numerous times to me that you think Guardians fans are spoiled, but I get the feeling, based off what you just said, that you kind of feel like because the Guardians, they still, last time I checked, their last World Series was 1948. The Pirates was 79. So the Pirates have one more recently. Are you saying you'd rather, like, if you were the Pirates and getting to the playoffs every year, or competing for the playoffs and winning division titles, and maybe even getting to a World Series but never winning one, you're saying you'd rather just stink than have a crack at it every year?
Let's put it this way. Last summer and the summer prior to that, it was the most open my summer's ever been, because I didn't have to worry about my baseball team winning baseball games. This summer looks to be a little bit different. It looks like, because I've devoted entire summers, 7 p.m. onward, to watching my baseball team. And that hasn't happened the past couple summers. Now, Guardians fans are Cleveland sports fans from a baseball perspective, just so we're proper, I think are spoiled, because you're a low budget team that's constantly being in the thick of things, and you've got great managing and you've got great players, and you did everything the right way, but you just can't get over the hump of winning that championship. And I think that sucks. But looking down at Pirate fans and saying, well, sucks to be you. And it really doesn't, because neither one of us are winning a championship. It's different when Steelers fans are talking to Browns fans or vice versa, because there's championships within those two teams within the last 2 decades. We're not looking back to 1979 before either of us were born and looking for a championship and resting on our laurels there.
Well, I mean, the Browns was before either of us were born.
I still don't consider that a championship.
You don't?
A world championship, like we're in the, again, and people are going to be like, wait a minute, world championships count just no, it's the Super Bowl era. Like, we don't call it the world championship. We call it, how many Super Bowls do you have? Right? Like, I don't want to hear about the AFL. I don't want to hear about that crap. Like, this is the NFL. How many world championships matter in the NFL era? Because I don't hear anybody else talking about it other than Browns fans.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I can't really, I don't think they matter either. I agree with you, but so basically what you're saying is, though, is because you said, we both seen, we don't have to go back to before we were born, but for me, I do. Like, you've seen 2 Super Bowls. I haven't seen even a Super Bowl appearance. So,
and you won't, Scotty, but the good news is you've been paper champions 57 years straight. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, I think I called us paper champions 2 weeks ago, but yeah, did you feel like do you ever feel like, DJ, that I know the Guardians haven't accomplished the ultimate goal, but they've been close several times in my lifetime, most closely in 97 and then in 2016, from what I remember, because I'm too young to remember the 95. But even though the Guardians, now the Guardians haven't won one, um, do you feel like, the Pirates, in a way, sometimes do you feel like the little brother that just can't compete with that big brother in the Indians, like it has been in football with the Steelers and Browns,
No,
where the Browns just
No, we're not in the same division. We're not in the same league. And baseball is 162 games long, so it's a little easier to palate a losing team, I guess, from that standpoint, because it's a little easier to lose track of 162 games than it is 16 or 17. So for me, if I'm a Guardians fan, I'm hoping that they stop playing baseball and start playing horseshoes or throwing hand grenades, because that's the only time that it's ever going to count for anything.
Oh man, that hurt right here, DJ.
I'm just saying, quit calling me little brother because I'm a Pirates fan. That's all I'm gonna say, Scotty. You want to throw things out there? Start tossing hand grenades, and maybe you guys will win something, because you might as well be called the Cleveland Almosts if that's the way we're going to play this. That is going to do it for our show today. I got the arrow out, and the dagger goes right at Scotty Mincher today. That's going to do it for our show, Scotty. Thanks as always for joining us. On the Friday. I kind of like this Friday vibe, man. This is a good vibe. I like it.
If you want, we could change it. I mean, at least because May, I'm set up for Wednesdays.
Love it.
Because that's when I could get it set up. But I mean, say next week, if you wanted to do Friday, we could, and then we could flip back to Wednesday after that.
Let's do it. We'll see you next Friday. How about that?
All right. I love it.
All right, buddy. That's going to do it for our show today. Everybody have a great weekend. We appreciate you tuning in all week right here on the Ysn Power Hour, proudly powered by Toyota of Warren. We will see you Monday with a brand new show right here on YSN. So long, everybody. YSN thanks you for